Hello, friends, and how are you today? It's been a while. To my wonderful subscribers, thank you for staying so faithful. I mean, it's been a while, I tell you, it's been so busy having to do a lot of writing and reading and, getting ready for school resumption and at the same time being involved with an online school, and designing my curriculum for that program. But notwithstanding, I have this wonderful book which I'm going to be sharing with you today, and it's titled Teacher by Sylvia Ashton-Warner. Wow, this is a book I read for the first time in 2013. Yeah, it was actually my prof who recommended this book to me. She was like, you need to read this book, JoAnn. It's titled Teacher, because she keeps hearing me talk about the essence of teaching. And for someone who had taught for over 20 years prior to the time I met this particular prof, I kept on saying, oh, why is it that, I'm not saying the curriculum is not essential, but how do we juxtapose the curriculum with the lived experience of the students in our classrooms? How do we bring their prior knowledge, their previous knowledge? Sometimes when we look at lesson plans, we always say, okay, what's the prior knowledge? What do the kids know before we introduce that topic? And Sylvia Ashton-Warner actually brings this to fore, being an European teacher teaching in a school, the Maori school, somewhere in New Zealand. It's amazing how she looked at the lived experience of these kids. And she started with, how would I teach children, Janet and John, when they've never seen snow? Or, in my context from the country where I come from, where we're busy teaching kids like snow or red apple, why don't we use the fruits that these kids know or live with daily? Why do we bring certain context that they are never familiar with? Or we want to teach the seasons of the year, and for example, in Nigeria, we just have the raining and dry season. Even though, except we just want the kids to know to become global citizens, and say, okay, like in this side of the world, their seasons are divided into 4. But here in Nigeria, but they're not taking off what they should know and, being fixated on what is all about, the curriculum that does not even that they don't relate or connect with. So Sylvia, for example, she's talking to students and she's teaching them, like I'll read something from you. She talks about the mechanics of teaching the key vocabulary. I take the key vocabulary in the morning output period when the energy is at its highest, since it is a creative activity. And I believe that the creative activities are more important than anything else. It's where I place all the mediums of creativeness between 9 and 10:30. So this is a teacher who looks at the time and says, what time of the day will I create so much? I want the kids to bring in their own creativity. And in teaching the key vocabulary, what she does here is, I call a child and ask her what she wants, and she may ask for socks. So now she's not taking the curriculum and say, okay, go learn this. This is socks. She asks the child, what is it you want? What is one word you crave for? And then the child could say, a car, a dog. And then you know what Sylvia does? Sylvia prints out the word that the child has just said. You want socks? And I printed large on a card with her name written quickly in the corner of my own use. She watches me print the word and says it as I print. Then I give it to her and take back to the mat and trace the characters with our fingers and finally replace it in the cover nearby. I call them one by one until each child has a new word. So when I read this book, one thing that resonates with me is, which is what a particular theorist, Canadian theorist, Ted Aoki, says, curriculum as lived, curriculum as planned. Sylvia asks a child, what word do you want to know about? What word resonates with you? And then the child goes, socks or car or gone, or, you know, it's words around the child's context, words around the child's environment. And Sylvia prints out these words. The child is able to see the word S and then traces it with the tip of their finger. Because the child connects the word from within to the teacher printing it out, there's connection in learning. You know, and for me, and what Sylvia goes on further to do is, like, after a while, she pairs the kids up and says, you know what, you learn the word from this other person. And so kids were building up their vocabulary like that. So as an educator, you know, and for even parents, this is one book I'll recommend everyone. I think this should be my third or fourth copy, because each time I talk about this book with friends, I pass on a copy to a friend, and then at the end of that, I forget the person whom I'm giving the book to, and then I end up buying another one and another one and another one. So I think this, I presume, should be my fourth copy, you know. And so for me, as an educator, it's how Sylvia ensures that it's not about what, I mean, she takes curriculum. Yes, we need to learn vocabulary. We need to learn writing, but bringing the learning of writing, bringing the learning of vocabulary right from the innate, the internal, the kids internalize those words and she brings them to fore. She brings them to life. She brings them to print. And besides going on further from just writing, she gets them to practice the speaking, and she goes on further for them to do a role play around the words they've written and they've, you know, and they've formed. So again, I would recommend everyone get this book by Sylvia Ashton-Warner, teacher. It's a beautiful book. It's a good read, you know. And so for next week, I'm going to be looking at someone else, one book I know I so love so much, Far from the Tree by Andrew Solomon. It's a big book, and you can see how I've just used you know, post-it notes to demarcate so many pages that resonates with me as I read each one. It's over, the book is close to 1,000 pages. You know, amazing, amazing book, Andrew Solomon. So look forward to my notification, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Share your love for, I'm sharing my love for stories, my love for reading, my love for books on this channel. Hope to see you next week. Thank you.